Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. This is the segment where we talk about wellness. Now, anything but boxing. It was a great night last night. I ain't gonna lie. I see some of you have come in and said a couple of things. We're gonna talk about it for sure Monday. And if I can help myself, we will talk about, you know, this wellness stuff and not the boxing. But I do see y'all. I see you, Demetrius. I do see you. That was a good fight. I can't wait till Monday. But anywho, we're gonna go ahead and start the show. It was also a long night, and I'm paying for it now. You can hear it in my voice. Anywho, let's turn to. Well, I'm back. As always, I start every show with a water check. We talk about the importance of water and how we should drink. Here at Box Fans Talk TV, we shoot for 100 ounces a day. A gallon is 128, but we shoot for 100 ounces a day. I was drinking water after midnight. Your time starts after midnight, by the way. I was up all night. That's why I'm paying for it right now. Y'all see these bags? When I tell you I was hurting, I was up. And then I sat down and said, let me close my eyes for a little bit. And shout outs to my kid, because she came and got me up. There's no excuse. She said, hey, you supposed to be doing your shit. And I think I had like 5 minutes out. I was like, oh my God. But I'm here, y'all. I apologize. I had to jump in the shower, get myself together, get some water on my face. Whew, just to make it for y'all, because that's how much I love you. Anyway, the water check. Important. If you're not going to drink water like 100 ounces a day, you at least need to do it first thing when you wake up to get your engine started. If you think of your body like an engine, get it started. There's a lot of things that's going to be going on to move that body per day. So you need to give it some lube. This is my 5th bottle. That would make me have 40 ounces in the afternoon. You know, I shoot for at least 12 bottles. Matter of fact, after the show, I got to go buy some because we run through water in this house. And at night, before you close your eyes, not when you just laying down looking at TV, but when you close your eyes, drink some water, because it's a lot of work being done when you sleep, when you really sleep. Not a nap, but when you really sleep. We got rejuvenation, rebooting, recharging. We burning calories, more calories at night than you would do going to the gym and working out an hour and a half. You burn approximately 900 to 1,000 calories in your sleep every night. That's a lot. So you wanted to have the proper life-sustaining foods. I don't know if you could classify water as foods, but it's a life sustainer. You want to have, the proper amount of water to move things and get things going and flushing things out. So we always advocate and big up water. I do want to advocate and big up my daughter today, because I swear, if she wasn't here, I'd have just had to see y'all tomorrow. I I'm hurting. For real. You can hear it in my voice. Demetrius Bright is in the building. He says, salute Queen T in chat. 46 ounces. That's pretty good, Demetrius. Demetrius like, Thurman look good. Needs 2 more fights. Conor Ben or Stanionis, then Boots. We might see the real Keith Thurman. Good, the gloves were 10 ounces. Mario might have gotten KO'd with 8 ounces. I think so too. He probably would have been up in that upper room. Because Thurman hit him like 4 or 5 times where he actually was doing the stanky leg or was about to cut a jig. Nothing against Mario. Let me pull back. Because I had a good time. And guess what? I stood my ground. I did not buy the fights. But shout outs to the person that hooked me up. You know who you are. But I did not buy no fights. And I'm not. And now I don't ever have to. So, PBC, that's on you. That was me, y'all. See you guys in 30 minutes. PGH Big Dog is in the building. What's poppin', King? He says, salute Queen T. Stream team is the only way. I feel you. It's the only way. It's the American way. And what's his name? What's dude who played that part in New Jack City? Wesley Snipes, when he said, it's the American way. Anywho, so y'all remember, you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna talk about a topic, but I'm gonna also answer questions that you guys might send me, through my email and all that. And they just be questions. If you looking at me through Facebook, come on into the YouTube channel. I'm doing this show because it's not Super Bowl. And matter of fact, come next week, I will not be doing no channel on no Super Bowl day. I'm gonna put some spec on that. I will not be doing a segment on the Super Bowl day. So, which that is an American pastime. I know they always give the credit to baseball, but I put it on football. So I'm gonna answer questions that you guys sent out. And y'all know that we all had, instead of saying New Year's resolution, we were like, come up with a New Year's goal. And every time you make a goal, then it has to be a long-term and a short-term goal. The short-term goal is going to be the little different things you do to lead up to the long-term goal. Like your long-term goal could say, I want to be a doctor. But you will have many short-term goals like, let me finish high school. Because you can't even go to college without finishing high school, or I know you can get a GED, but y'all walk with me here. But you can't go to college without your high school diploma. Then you're going to say, let me get my college degree, because you can't even get into med school without the bachelor's. And then it could be, let me take the little preliminary test, because they got all kinds of tests you have to take before you can even get in med school. You see what I'm saying? All these little preliminary things you got to do that can work up to getting to your goal of becoming a doctor or a lawyer, or whatever you want to be or do. My goal this year, or my goal, even though I didn't actually verbally say this out loud, but in the last couple of years, my goal has been get off these medicine, because I think they're killing me. Little story break. About a couple of years ago, it's 2022 now, okay? So this was 2019. Let me back it up a little. 2018, October, I was in New York. took my daughter up there for a concert, and that was going to be her graduation gift from me. She was a senior at the time in high school. So I took her and her friend up there, and I would seem like I was okay. But when I got back home, we was up there like 5 days. When I got back home, within the weeks, I got sick. I thought it was a cold. I kept, when I get a cold, I don't know if it's being in the military that taught me this. But when I get a cold, I keep it moving. Like, a cold don't mean I get to stay home. The only time it was something big is when it was allergy cold, like a sinus infection. Because them shits hurt and you need real medicine. But a regular cold, over the counter, go to the gym, work out, you'll sweat a cold out, stuff like that. So I'm getting up, walking, breathing, doing what I'm supposed to do. But this cold is kicking my ass. So I go to the doctor and they tell me, we don't know if it's pneumonia. It's not pneumonia, but we don't know what it is. Some kind of respiratory thing. This was 2018. And so I was like, well, they said it's possible it could be walking pneumonia or something. And I was like, God damn. This shit literally slowed me down. Literally trying to walk from my bedroom downstairs was a task. Walk from my house, like inside the house, to the driveway to get to my car was a big to-do. I wouldn't dare walk from my house to the corner, and I live kind of like on the corner. I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't breathe. I was just whatever, my daughter got sick that year too, like after me, and we both was just going through it. Like, she got sick that December. We actually went home and we stayed with my mom, and my mom kept saying, damn, she's sick. And I'm just like, she got a cold. I'm moving and doing all this stuff, right? And this was 2019. But when my daughter graduated, I'm going to tell you how bad this cold was. We now about 6 months, because my daughter graduated in May. At the graduation, now I have dreamt of this ever since she was born. How I'm gonna cut her food, how I'm gonna be like, and all this stuff. I was so weakened. When she came out, and we, how you be looking, and they come from out of the curtains and they walking down to the music. I'm ready to go, like yell her name. I swear I couldn't yell, but like this, Ray. That's all I could say. That loud, y'all. Ray. And I was like, what? And I had to get all my family to scream her name, so she can look towards us, because I couldn't. But I meant I was going to be there. And then the whole time leading up to that graduation, the doctors wanted me to come in. And I kept saying no, because they wanted me to do a procedure. When I tell you, all hell broke loose. Like, I never in my life had a problem with fluid buildup. Never. But early, like in the spring and stuff of 2019, this is what was going on. I was still sick. But again, I told you, I don't lay down when I'm sick like that. I just keep it moving, because I know if you move, you'll get better. I know even if you work out or something, you try to, you'll sweat it out. I started having fluid build up around my heart. Scared the shit out of me. Not no little bit of fluid. That January, to be exact, of 2019, I went on here at the advice of the ER, because I went in because I couldn't breathe, and they was like, you got too much fluid built up, we gotta check you in. Everybody knows something. I don't know who likes to get checked in the hospital, but I don't, because you can't do shit. The TV ain't all that and the food ain't all that, I don't want to be sitting up in there. And I know this story seems long, but this is real talk. This is what sent me on the journey where I am right now. At that time, I was taking like 15 pills a day. And before I had this respiratory thing, I you know, the 15 pills, I'm just popping. Because I got to take my pills at different times, not to interact with the others. And I make it through every day, popping my pills. No problem, because, you know, most of them little. There's only a couple of them that was real big. So I'm in the hospital for about a week. They giving me this thing through the IV that they, you know, what is it called? It's like it's like the ultimate water pill. But you got to be careful. Just so y'all know, it is really dangerous taking water pills. So any of you out there taking it, that's one of the medicines you want to get to a point where you get off of. And I know a lot of people with high blood pressure or hypertension, that's one of the pills. If you on more than one water pill, you better do your research. Because taking water pills is not the bee's knees how they make it seem to be. Because everybody be under this impression that, you know, it's good to get water off, like you lose water weight. You know, like people can lose 5 or 10 pounds or 15 pounds and they'll be like, oh, that's water weight. Stop that shit. Stop that shit. Your body is 70% water. Stop that crap. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm in the hospital. They giving me this shit through the IV to make me drain a lot of water, excess water. When I tell you, from my toes up to my heart and probably beyond, was so filled with water, liquid buildup or fluid buildup. In 1 week, you know why they finally let me out? Because they removed, no bullshit, 50 pounds. Not of weight, because I'm going to tell y'all this too. 50 pounds of liquid is not a fluid. Is not equivalent to 50 pounds of fat. It's kind of a difference. I can't tell you how it's a difference. It's a difference. Don't put it in your mind like they took 50 pounds of fluid. You should have dropped 50 pounds of weight. No, it's not like that. But you do drop some weight. Why in the fuck? A 40-something-year-old woman got 50 pounds of fluid in her. And they saw it mostly in my feet and legs. And I was like hurting, right? So they drained all that shit off. And then they said, we got to get to the heart, because they got it off as far as up to my waist. But like in my torso area or my heart, they couldn't. They was like, we got to do something more extensive. And they got this procedure they do, which is common. But a lot of people don't understand that your organs are covered in a sac of some sort. All people's organs. What the sac is really melanin. I don't know what it's made of, like the other substance of it, but it's a melanin sac. Everybody, white people, everything. Melanin is in every place you can look. So when white people be coming up with, and sorry to say this, when coming up ways and how to destroy black folks, like coming up with these man-made diseases, and I do believe that shit happened. You get in the business of trying to kill off a whole racial group through some kind of medical thing, like an illness or something, or getting contaminated with something, you really killing yourself, because we all have melanin in us. But see, if you knew how much or how prevalent melanin was in the world, then you'll begin to start thinking you special, especially the darker you are. So that's how I see it. That's my little break on that. But they drain 50 pounds of fluid. Imagine my eyes, like 50 what? Like what the fuck? I'm still not knowing that I'm sick as a dog. So I know I'm sick, but we don't know what it is. So I get out and I say, okay. So that's why I said the whole spring they kept saying, check in. We're going to do the heart now. Now what they will have to do is poke a hole in my what they call it? Start with the P. Damn, I had the name. Periodical sac to drain the fluid, but you have to be careful because that sac is around your heart. You can't. You don't want to poke holes. Let me just say that. But the way they do it is weird. They can either come through your arm or come up through your leg. It's weird. So they kept on me. I said, no, my daughter's graduation coming up. I'm not going in nobody's hospital. Fuck y'all. And they was like, you gonna die. Real talk. They was telling me I was gonna die. This was 3 years ago now. You're gonna die. So then, I know this story kind of long, but I had to give y'all the backstory. So then I went and I made it to her graduation when I was getting this procedure. The very next week, my son, her brother's mother, and I told you I call him my son because, you know, he stayed with me so much that, you know, that's just how I look at it. You know, very close to him. My daughter is her brother's mom's daughter. This is how close we are. So we went to her commissioning, and then that was the very next week. And then we came home. We had a couple of weeks before we had to go to my nephew's graduation, which was in Virginia, but her commissioning was in Mississippi, and you know, we down here in Georgia. So I wanted to make sure I could be in all these places. So what I said to myself is, when we come back from the commission, I'm gonna go ahead and check it into the hospital. It was just a simple procedure, and I go in to do the procedure, and a lot of times, especially in the military, your body don't belong to you. And I'm doing this surgery or procedure on base. Now it went from, you know, they don't really put you down, they just numb you up and do the procedure, to we got to put you down, you know, like we got to put you under. And then, you know, it just kept getting serious, and I'm like, wait a minute now. And I feel like they was just saying whatever they could to get me. Once I got in, every doctor in that motherfucker wanted a piece of me. Because when you have an autoimmune disorder, it's all types of things that go wrong in all different types of areas of your body. And sometimes, like me, in my situation, especially if you don't know you have that, and you let years and years and years go past without, you know, treating yourself well, then you'll have damage in a lot of areas that calls for specialists. So I see a heart specialist now. I see an endocrine specialist now. I see an internalist. I can go on and on and on. I have to see specialists amongst a regular PCM. So I get in there, and they try to do the procedure, and thank God these heart people knew what they was doing. They get there, they said, I don't know why it looked like, from whatever the preliminary ways they checked, it looked like you had a lot of fluid around your heart, but you don't. You know, we don't want to poke because if we poke, you know, you really don't have that much fluid around your heart. You got the normal amount. So they backed up out, but they still had put me under. So I had to. So all they did was put me under. They tried and they saw it. It was like, nah, they backed out. This is what they claimed. Now, but for real, they could have did some damage up in there. I would never know. And that's real talk. They could have poked it and just told me they didn't, because it ain't above them to lie. So then they put me in ICU, right? In ICU, I'm thinking it was just a procedure that they didn't do. All I got to do is let this damn shit wear off, you know, the stuff they gave me to put me under. Let it wear off, and then I'm out of here. These motherfucking specialists, these internalists was coming out of nowhere. Well, we want you to go do this. We want you to go do that. Because they've been asking me for months to check in so they could do all this extra. I said, I'm not here for that. I came here for a procedure. I'm done. And then they was pumping Coumadin in me and giving me all this shit. And for some kind of way, I wasn't able to sleep for like 5 days straight. I'm in the hospital 6 days over a damn procedure that I could have been up for. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wait a minute now. I'm getting there, y'all. I'm sorry. I was like, wait a minute now. Why the fuck I gotta do this? They were like, we need you to go do this CAT scan. I just did one a couple of months ago. We need to do another one. So now you just trying to use me as a guinea pig. And I got angry because I'm not active duty no more. I'm retired. Fuck y'all. That's how I felt. And so these are young, what they call it, residencies or whatever, residents. And so in this one bald head guy, his face is seared in my brain. He kept saying, "You're gonna die, you're gonna die." I was like, why would you say that to somebody? You know, he's looking like that skinny motherfucker from the Poltergeist. You're gonna die, you know. So he just kept saying it. And I was like, okay, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Now, they had pumped so much shit in me. Like, you don't give nobody Coumadin if they don't have a blood clot problem. And they just try to say, well, we do that for everybody now. It's standard procedures. And I was like, I've had several surgeries. I've never had nobody pump no damn Coumadin. Well, it's something new. Nah, motherfucker, y'all guinea pigging me. So I said, I got to get out of here. So I'm talking to one of my friends, and she ain't going for it. Like, you need to stay. I said, I'm going to die if you leave me here. I was having panic attacks and everything. Matter of fact, to this date, I've had 3 panic attacks, and only one when I was flying. Because when you have hypertension, just so y'all know, if it never happened to you before, when you have hypertension and you do stuff that they suggest you not to, like fly, and not all the time, it's not absolute. Flying sent me into a panic attack. I don't even understand panic attacks. I don't know why people have them. I used to scarf at it, but now I know the shit is real. I don't ever want a panic attack. God, I'm knocking on wood. Please, God, don't let me ever have another one. But the other 2 was when I was in this hospital. I knew I had to get to Virginia because I wasn't going to miss my nephew's graduation for the world. And so I wound up trying to figure out how to check myself out. And it just so happened that my neighbor, which I didn't even think she would do, because she knows that I be going to the ER a lot, she came to visit. And when she came in there, I said, "Get me out." And she said, "What?" It's like she walked into shit. I said, "They're going to kill me. Let me die at home." That's serious. I swear to God. So she didn't know what to do. She was like, shout out to Ashley. So I said, "Ashley, I know you drove. Get me downstairs. Get me in the car. Get me home. I'll die at home. But they're going to kill me in here. I can't do it." Because the shit that they was putting in me, I started throwing up. I thought I literally was going to die. And meanwhile, we still have the respiratory thing that nobody knows what the fuck it is. They don't know. To this day, I think I had COVID bad. But if I'm telling you, I caught it from October to goddamn, we in May. Oh, no, we in June at this point. From October to June, that's a long motherfucking time. That's like over 6 months. So that I was feeling bad. So she took me home, and all that shit they was pumping in me dissipated in time. And I was able to drive to Virginia. I was still weakened, but I wasn't gonna miss it for the world. He made me so proud. And so when I tell y'all all that to say, you know, you're gonna have problems. You need to understand what things can do to you and what things don't do to you. So when I'm talking about my goal this year was to cut my amount of medicine down even more. That year that I told you this story, I was on 15 pills a day. I take 8 now. Those other pills that I don't take, I'm supposed to take to live. To live. Oh, it was as important as anything. The 2 pills that I will never get rid of is my thyroid pills. In order to live, I have to. If I don't take those, I will eventually die. Like real quick. Real quick for me, like not like overnight, but like I've used to back in the day when they used to do your cancer recheck. They used to have to take you off your medicine. So I even know how it'll take about maybe 2 months if I was to stop taking them. So I will always be on those. Maybe some kind of allergy pill. But all this other shit, I got to get rid of. Why? Because pills have fillers in them. And they have, those fillers could be full with sugar and proteins that you don't need, that are that adversely affect you. So when I tell you I've been on this journey for longer than this New Year's goals that I have, it go back to 2019, because I felt like them pills was killing me. Just like people who take ibuprofen all the time, that shit is not good for you. It's not good for your heart. I like ibuprofen. Don't get me wrong. For over a decade, that's all they threw at me. I was an ibuprofen taking somebody, especially 800 milligrams. But it's bad for your heart. Just letting you know. You don't want to be on a regimen of taking pain pills and all this stuff. If you got pain, then you know you're alive. Look at it like that. I know it sucks, but look at it like that. Some of us got low tolerance. This girl here have low tolerance of pain. I just can't take it. But I'm getting better at it. So my goal, going back to the goal, was to get off the steroids. And I take the steroids to live. Steroids are not all bad. So I take them to live. But in order for me to get off the steroids, I got to have a long-term, getting off the steroids is a long-term goal. And short-term goal is what all the things I can do to get off it. Which brings me to my thumbnail. One of my I got two big problems why I take steroids. Steroids basically saved my life because I have edema. Edema is an autoimmune disorder, but edema has been triggered because of the years of abuse. When I say years of abuse, is when I'm talking about what I've eaten, the way my diet was. No, I wasn't the clumps pulling up at a buffet. Never that. But I ate Western food, which is full of sugar that you're not supposed to digest, and proteins that you're not supposed to digest. And my body is one of those bodies that be like, bitch, nah, we ain't gonna have it. We ain't gonna take it. Now, I don't know about others, but we ain't gonna take it. I want you guys like, share, and subscribe when you come up in here. Please hit them like buttons. I see the numbers go way down, but I see them go up too. I know that was a long story, but you need to understand where my mind be coming from. I knew I was dying. Not a doubt in my mind they was going to kill me if I didn't do those measures. And I was okay with dying, but dying at home. Because they was guinea pigging me. And y'all got to stop letting people guinea pig you. And they thought because I was retired military, they had that kind of control. And when I tell you, the nigga was angry. It was a white dude. He was angry because I was like, I'm leaving. And you don't yell at somebody, you're gonna die. Bitch, I'm still here. I want to beat the fuck out this dude so bad. Let me calm down. Because he's an internist. I told you I have to see specialists. So when I go to my primary care appointment, and they always up in my business, and I'm like, y'all got to get rid of that motherfucker because he can't touch me. I don't want to see no fucking internist. Real talk. I stopped going to the doctor as much. I would go to the ER if I had swelling or something life-threatening, and that was that. My doctor be like, we ain't seen shit. I'm not hanging around here. Y'all try to kill me. And even my doctor made a joke when she came in the door. She said, well, you're not dead. And I said, what make you say that? She said, I'm just reading the notes. That's how serious these people was. They was not going to get me to be their guinea pig. I thought of Miss Evers' boys, the Tuskegee experiment. I thought of all of that shit. y'all motherfucker ain't gonna hem me up. Because that's what I felt like. Shout out to those historical either documentaries or biopics, because that's what went through my head when I said, get me out. I've never in my life broke out the hospital. And trust me, I've had many times living up in the hospital. Never in my life, but I seriously thought they were. And I said, you gotta get better. You gotta get off these pills, because this bullshit, they killing you. Like, they never told me I had autoimmune disorder, number one. I didn't find that out till I was damn near 40. They never told me that Motrin is bad for you, especially when you got a bad heart. Never told me. Why are you treating me, but you ain't telling me shit? So sometimes you gotta take things into your own hands. Did I have COVID? We probably did. We would never know, because that's not what they called it. I don't know. But it was a cold I could not get rid of for a long time. But I got home and I was determined I'm getting off this bullshit medicine. And I slowly but surely, now I'm telling you, it was so bad. Like I said, just walking downstairs was a big to do. But at least I could get downstairs. Now getting back up, my daughter was sick of me, because I'd be like, can you please go downstairs and get this? If I made it downstairs, I'd be like, can you go upstairs and get that? And she just was like, when I came this close, and I was in my 40s, this close to buying a chairlift. That damn close. Because I was like, I can't even walk upstairs. I used to have to brace the banister and the wall and just breathe and be like, and walk up my little flights of stairs, 15 steps. When I got to the top, I had to lean on the wall little thing and just be like, gather myself, because just the thought of walking to my room, which was straight to the back, was scaring me. I would be totally out of breath. I thought, is this it? You know, I'm young still. Like, is this it? Now, I don't have none of these problems. I went from 15 meds to 8. By the end of this year, I hope to be half of that. I hope to be at 4. But I felt like I had to get rid of some shit. You know what I'm saying? Smash the like button, y'all. Don't just reckless eyeball. I gave y'all some real talk. It ain't just happening to me. It's happening to a lot of y'all. They're not explaining a lot of stuff. So back to my goals. My goals was to get off what? The steroids that I take. The only way, that's the long-term goal. The only way to get off them, I'm going to have to nurse myself back to health. Meaning I'm going to have to ensure that I don't, catch nothing. So I'm not going to be in nobody's face. I'm masked up all the time. And I'm the last person that was supposed to get vaccinated, because I have too many high-risk problems. But I went and did it anyway. And I had no problems. None. A little soreness in my arm. That's about it. For about 6 hours. I got both. I got the Pfizer, both shots, and the booster. I done been around people with COVID, unbeknown to me. Like, I went to the ER the other day for something else, not what I normally go to. And I was like, damn, why they take it so goddamn long? And the lady told me everybody in here had COVID, so they had priority. And when I said it was damn packed, I was in there with my mask. A couple of times I took my mask down. I ain't had shit. I'd have been around people who had it and found out later they had it. And I mean, talking to them like you regularly talk to somebody. I've been around people who've been vaccinated and caught COVID too. I haven't. My kid hasn't. My kid, at her job, she worked at a daycare. I can't tell you how many incidents she done had kids in her care that had COVID. We haven't, and thank God, and I'm knocking on wood. So maybe we already had ours. Because that year that I got sick, my daughter got sick, so did my nephew. He was living with me earlier that year. Him and my daughter got sick real bad. And it's the only time she ever stayed home from school. And the whole time she was going to school. The only time. And then he was shaking. And him and I got sick earlier and we was shaking. Like this, what was 2018 was a bad year for us up in here. So when I tell you, you have to be cognitive of certain things and set a goal for yourself, but understand that you're going to have that regular goal and you're going to have a short-term goal. The short-term goal is going to be the little preliminary stuff you do to get you to the long-term goal. So if I want to cut my medicine in half, even from 8, I have to ensure I don't have any edema issues. So I can't be around nobody that, like I said, breathing on me and shit. That ain't gonna happen. I'm gonna be extra careful. And then when the weather change and the pollen, because I always get sick the worst in the spring. I'm gonna tell you that if anything, the pandemic has taught us that a lot of that shit is, of course, some of it can be allergy for other folks. But a lot of it is people being up in people's face. Because you don't even realize how much you spit when you talk. Everybody. Just masking up alone cut back or reduce normal flu frequency since forever. Or since never. Flu decreased big time here in the States just by people wearing masks. And I noticed a difference too. That particular year, I didn't even go to the ER once. The next year, only 5 times, as opposed to 25 or 30. Just from wearing a mask. That might be the rest of my life with that. I don't care. But, so what can I do? What am I doing? I have a swelling problem. So, if I'm going to achieve my goals with getting off the steroids, then I know I can't have issues where I have allergic reactions or something, then yes, I'm going to stay masked. That's one remedy. 2, I had to figure out, why do I keep swelling up? And I don't just, like I told you guys, if it's from here and up here, from your neck and above, I go to the ER. But if it's everywhere else on my body, I just suffer through it. So I could swell up on my finger today. Tomorrow it could be my ear. Like I don't fucking know. But whenever I swell up these days, it's accompanied with fluid. Not a lot, but fluid. I guess once I turn that switch on, it's on, right? So I said, all right. I always take a problem and I work backwards. So I take the problem that's in my face. The problem I see is the fluid buildup, because you can tell your skin turns a little red. It's puffier, it's bigger, like my fingers. I know what normal size, how my hands, whatever their normal size are. And then when it's swelling, I can tell that it's swelling. I can look right at it and be like, oh shit, this finger is swollen. You touch it, it's fluid up under there. The fluid makes swelling worse. And fluid can be a byproduct of the swelling from the jump. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes you have swelling. People think the fluid and the swelling is all in one. No. You're going to have a swelling and you're going to have byproducts of that swelling, and fluid is one of them. So your answer might be, if you're thinking about it, let me get rid of the fluid and that'll fix it. No, you have to address it at the root, which is the swelling. Now, as you get older, people, because I have rheumatoid arthritis, is another one of my autoimmune disorders. So arthritis period is about swelling. And it's not that if I didn't have rheumatoid arthritis, would I have regular arthritis? I don't know. But this is one of my autoimmune disorders. So, of course, I know what to do to subdue autoimmune disorder problems. But rheumatoid arthritis is fairly new to me. It's not something you normally get when you're young. You get it in your 40s. So there's no way for me to prepare for that or know that I was going to have this issue until I had this issue. I'm not 20-some years old and like, that's coming. That's coming. I couldn't predict it or anything. So when it hit me, it hit me. So what I'm saying to you is I took the problem and I worked backwards. So I looked at the swelling, the liquid, the fluid buildup. I said, let me get rid of that. But the swelling will still be there. Let me get rid of the swelling. But what's causing the swelling? This is what I mean by you take a problem and you work backwards. And you ask the important questions. Sometimes you're going to have to ask the who, what, when, where, how. But you see what I just did? The swelling's there. Let me get rid of that. I mean, the liquid's there. Let me get rid of that. But the swelling is still there. Let me get rid of that. But why did I have the swelling in the first place? Let me figure that out. A lot of times you're asking the question, why? When you get that answer, that's where you attack. So for me, since January, I've been looking for some kind of medicine. And as y'all know here, we always say that food is thy medicine. So I've been looking for some kind of medicine, some kind of way to put something together for arthritis, and I think I found it. A lot of people suffer with it, especially superior athletes. If you are a superior athlete and you're like in your 20s or 30s, trust me, arthritis is in your future. That's a lot of times will be going on with people's knees, shoulders, elbows, feet, back. Every time there's swelling in the joints, 9 times out of 10, it's in the arthritis family, or it could be, you could actually have a serious injury. So I said, what causes swelling? And I started thinking about proteins and the importance of proteins. So you guys, the phone lines are open if you have any questions. I know I'm giving y'all insight into my head. I know it's probably like some of y'all probably think it's way too much or whatever, but this is how I come up with shit. Because this is how my mind be working, right? So I was like, okay. Protein. Why protein is important? And protein is the key part of our diets as humans. We require protein to grow, build muscle strength, keep our body cells in good health, and maintain balance in our food consumption. It also helps to give us energy and provide our body with the right means to move and process shit. It's suggested that overall, our daily food intake should be roughly 10 to 35% in protein. And if you tell me that, I'm sure for you guys, 10 to 35%, I'm not counting that out. But just look at it like out of all the food that you eat, if you practice making at least almost half of the amount of food, if you take all the food and put it together that you ate that whole day, at least almost half of that food should have been protein driven, you know what I'm saying, in some kind of form. Now, there's ways to eat it. You know, you got your plant-based, you got your animal-based or whatever. And y'all know we favor the plant-based. Okay, there's no need, as we're not gonna get into it. We know that we're not carnivores, so then we don't need it. And then they said, so like, what is a protein? A protein is a large complex biomolecule, macromolecules that are in every cell in our human bodies. Okay, you can go more deep into it if you want to, but they're responsible for like things like amino acid, lipids. I just said that they're responsible for growth and this, that, and the other. As far as this channel, that's all you need to know is why it's important. And it's important because of growth, the buildup of muscles, to include the buildup of strength in your muscles. It's good for cells, the health of cells, meaning the growth of cells and the reproduction of cells. This is what protein is good for. And it's also used like for the maintenance and the balance in our food consumption. And I told y'all what they recommend the daily dose is, and I don't know how you count that, you know what I'm saying, but some kind of way, my head is, some kind of way you have to just try to do over or close to a half amount of food that you eat should be in protein, if you think of it like that. Because I don't know how you're going to count out 10 to 35%. Who does that? That makes eating boring. So just you know, make sure you get when you eat, make sure shit got protein in it. And you don't need to eat no meat to get that. Because you can eat a whole bowl of spinach leaves. Guess what? You know how much protein you're going to get out of that? A lot. But because proteins are good for the building blocks, like, you know, muscle strength is, you know, when you think about your cells, you know, I told you certain parts of your body reproduce cells like not even every second, but a lot. And then you got other parts of your body that don't reproduce cells that much, like your nervous system, your central nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system, your nerves, your dendrites and axioms, you know, all that stuff dealing with your nerves. I'm just talking about your nervous system. They don't reproduce cells that much. That's why if you ever damage your spine or wherever you have nerves, they don't come back that quick because they don't reproduce cells like that. And this is the slowest part of reproduction of cells in your body. But somewhere else, like your gut, this is why I say we could be resilient. Your gut, you know, your liver, maybe other places, I don't know, that reproduce the cells all day, every day. You know, that's why you can do some messed up things to your body and then kind of recover or get back on track. A lot of people who find out that, you know, like me, close to you, when you was, you know, getting along to my 40s, that I had autoimmune disorders, I could make a change in life now and be like, oh, okay. But if I didn't know, would I even be here today? You can turn stuff around. Like, I got cholesterol levels like a 20-something-year-old. And people my age got bad cholesterol. I know there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. But bad, when I'm saying you got bad cholesterol, like, you got cholesterol problem. You taking Lipitor and shit like that. Or you got insulin problems. You probably diabetic or pre-diabetic. You done had shoulder surgery, knee surgery, joint surgeries, all over. You went from being a young person, hardly ever taking pills. Now you taking 5 or more pills a day. You went from waking up in the morning and just easily getting out of bed. Now you could barely move. You're not even regulated properly when you go into the bathroom and stuff. we blame it on old age. No, it's not old age. This the part we got to reprogram. It's actually the damage that you've done for the last 20 something years or 30 years eating this bullshit. That's what got you like that. And you take bullshit out your diet, you gonna find you just as have just as much vigor as you did when you was 20, 30, 35. Your body just can't continue to fight. And believe me, when you don't give it what it wants, it is in a fight. You just can't see it. You can't see it. So, in my quest of trying to figure out how am I going to stop swelling? Because I'm tired of it. You know what? Again, why I don't like the steroids, because one, whether I eat or not, it puts weight on me. That can't be good. The weight isn't why I have problems, but it can't be good. Y'all know I don't have a thyroid gland. So I don't have metabolism, so I can ill afford to be having weight put on me. And it makes you hungry. Like that hunger is something I cannot fight against. I can't win. Like real talk, I cannot beat it. So I was like, I gotta get off these steroids. You know what I'm saying? Weight is bad, like to have on your bones and carrying around weight you shouldn't be carrying around. Not to mention the negative or adverse effects it can have on you socially, in a social setting or whatever. Having extra weight can make you lazy, not want to get up and move, and you should want to get up and move. These are those adverse effects. So I had to get out the steroids. So I was like, okay, even if I don't have swelling today, I need to come up with a recipe that I can incorporate into my daily routine, or at least 3 times a week. Because that's one thing too. When I make up these recipes, I can't tell you like, oh, you eat this 3 times a week and I guarantee you won't have no problem. Because if I did that, I'd be acting like a doctor. And I'm not. But I can promise you, if you eat certain recipes that I make up, because I'll make them up for something specific. And so those recipes that I do have right now, they can help a myriad of problems. Like if you tell me you got this problem, that problem, or that problem, I could tell what the initial problem is. A lot of people are acidic, so I start there. And then there's other things, you know. There's one person who told me they have an appetite problem. I don't mean to laugh, because so did I. Like, I don't actually, me naturally, I'm a person that can eat once a day and not be good. And that's not normal. She eat more than that. But I notice when I eat clean, I have a big ass appetite. But when I eat this Western food, I really don't have much of an appetite. But you would think I'm the clumps when I eat Western food, because I can just look at something and it seems like I can put on weight. But when I'm eating clean, I can eat all day, every day, nonstop, like all day, every day, and just keep withering away. But this woman who sought my help, because most women are gonna ask for my help when it concerns weight. Most women, some men too, but most women. The problem was she had an appetite, and she said ever since she was pregnant, she never got out of that routine of how she ate, like in the middle of the night. And I was like, real talk, it's story time. When I was pregnant, I faithfully got up at 3. I don't know how. You didn't have to set no clock. At 3 o'clock, I gets up and I have me a little meal. I ain't talking about no bullshit. I ain't talking about no little snack. I'm talking about a real motherfucking meal, like you have at dinner. And people knew that I was doing this, so they would make me plates, and I'll put it in my fridge when I get up in the middle of the night and microwave. I'm also not a microwave eater, but during my pregnancy, I ate a lot of food, like putting it in the microwave. But me, during the day, regular, whatever, I'm not that big. I use my microwave, but not that often. But yeah, I was 3 o'clock and I couldn't break it. 10 years later, I'm not pregnant. I'm still eating that way. I had kids late. I had my kid late. So, like when I say 10 years later, I'm in my 40s. So, I'm like, okay, something got to change. And I went on a journey. I said, I can't keep eating in the middle of the night. I'm sick. I'm this, that, and the other. This is how I inadvertently just started learning about the medical properties of food. And I learned, and this is the example I use because it's the easiest one, that grapes are an appetite suppressant. To all the ladies out there, grapes are an appetite suppressant. Now, don't go to the store and buy you some grape juice. You ever notice why you don't buy grape juice like talking about it? It's not that it's not good. It is good. But as soon as you drink, you kind of full. Like, people don't be ODing on grape juice. Why? Because it takes your appetite away. But you don't want to buy no processed juice, period. Make your own. Even if you're not into juicing on a big level, like you actually juice foods and stuff like that, make your own juice. I'm telling you, this shit is good. You'll be surprised. But that's something you could do. You could juice, even if you don't, if your goal is, and see, I'm just dropping nuggets right now. Even if your goal is, I had to stop eating at night. I'm gonna tell you something real easy to do. I ain't talking about you. Let's say we're not gonna talk about what you eat during the day, but you feel like you're having issues because you eat in the middle of the night. You're gaining weight. You're having problems. You're doing this, that, and the other. So this is what you do. Get you a juicer and eat. The cheapest I'm gonna tell you to spend on the juicer is $60. Get you a Jack LaLanne type juicer, Hamilton Beach equivalent to a Jack LaLanne. Can't go wrong with Jack LaLanne. Because when you juice your stuff, your pulp that come out should be as dry as possible. The drier it is, the better that juice is, the more you got nutrients out of whatever you juice. The wetter it is, the more it's fugazi. I'm talking about the pulp. So get you a juicer. Get you a big old bag of grapes and make you some grape juice. That's it. Put it in a container. Now, juice, when you make it, I don't know how you feel. I don't like thick nothing. I like water, consistent texture of liquids. You know what I'm saying? So like when I make my juice need to be water-like. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no damn froth and no big big to do. So what I do is I scoop the froth out. If you make your juice and you set it on the counter, come back like 5 minutes later, and it's gonna have all this froth. Now that's when you know you cooking with grease. That's how real juice come out. You make some juice and ain't no froth, run. Run. So you come back and it's thick, right? I don't want to eat that shit. So I just take a spoon and scoop it, dump it in the sink. Scoop it, dump it in the sink. Get all that bullshit out. Shake the juice. You gonna see the different nutrients and stuff that fall down. The stuff that weighs heavier than everything that's light gonna stay up, and everything that's heavy gonna come down. You gonna see You just gonna see. So when every time you go to your juice, you just shake it up. There's sometimes I make juice in the actual liquid part look closer to watercolor than all the nutrients and stuff in there. I just shake it up. Shaking it up ain't gonna bring much more froth. But you make that and put it in your fridge. Right? And at night, when you get up at 3 in the morning, you go down there and you get pour you like a 16-ounce cup. Or better yet, I'm gonna say this, pour 8 ounces. Because you ain't even gonna make it to 16. And make sure it's nice and cold. And then just drink it. Now, to trick your mind, you say, I'm still gonna eat. I'm still gonna make me a sandwich. I'm still gonna do this. But go ahead and just drink it. And I guarantee you, you probably won't finish your 8-ounce cup and you're not gonna be hungry. Guarantee you. And you keep doing that, and keep doing that. And if you was trying to do another diet or whatever you was trying to do, you'll be more successful at it because you're not getting up in the middle of the night eating anymore. The shit works, people. It works. I bullshit you not. And when you eating God's food, as I like to call it, ain't no overdosing or ODing on sugar and shit. Ain't no such thing. Sugar, in the way God made it, is so sweet. There's no way you can OD on it. Man-made sugar, you will. Milk chocolate is worse. Dark chocolate is real. You can eat dark chocolate all day and you will not hurt yourself. Can't do no milk chocolate like that. So going back to attacking the problem, that was a problem. And I helped someone like that with that problem. And she broke that routine. Take about 21 days to break a routine. So she was able to break that routine. Shout out to her. It wasn't nobody from the show. This was locally here. And she went to her house and showed her how to do it. And she broke that routine. So whatever she was trying to do, exercise or lose weight or whatever, she was able to do it because she X'd out that one part that she couldn't break that habit. And she said all her children, she was pregnant with, she had to get up in the middle of the night and eat. And it just stuck with her for 10 years. We just broke a habit. You'd be surprised with water. And I talk to y'all all the time about the water stuff. People out here talk about the water stuff. It clears your skin. Talk about vitamin E. But I told y'all about the importance of protein and stuff like that, and what it do for swelling. My problem is getting rid of the steroids, so I have to address protein issues. I didn't think I had protein issues, but once you start doing research stuff, then I was putting 2 and 2 together. I did have protein issues because I was eating a lot of meat, and I love meat. None of y'all probably like meat like I do. I love meat, and I'm thinking, I done gave up the bread, I gave up all that other stuff, but I like meat. So I'm eating my meat, and I go to the doctor one time, and they said, you're highly deficient in protein. That scared me because I know what protein does. It's responsible for growth, building strength, building muscle. It's responsible for so much. I can't be lacking, the lipids, amino acids, all this stuff, these processes, the development of cells, that shit is important. This is what I cannot have. I cannot have a problem with protein. Because that will be detrimental to me. That will be the straw that breaks the camel back. So that's what got me on to looking for protein in other ways instead of meat. And that's when I learned that crucifix vegetables, some fruit, they all have protein in them. And I just put myself on a routine of eating that. So now when I go to the doctor and they draw blood, I'm not protein deficient anymore. So that means amino acids are going down. My enzymes are working, building muscle and this, that, and the other. That means all of that is hitting on 1,000 because I'm not protein deficient anymore. But when you become protein deficient, your body enters into kind of like a how do I pronounce it? Catabolic kind of state. You can, in some way, shape, or form. Meaning basically your body turns on itself. Or eats itself. If that makes sense. Or it can turn on itself. I know some people gonna be like, that's not true, Miss D. That's not good. Nah. Yes, it is. But the problem is nobody ever really gets that far. I mean, because if you have deficient protein and all that stuff, that's gonna be like you having deficient electrolytes. I mean, you'll have a stroke or heart attack before any of that other stuff can happen. But what if you make it past, you don't have a stroke or heart attack? That's another way to kill you. There's never gonna be a day in your life where you don't need protein. So again, knowing all this stuff, I said, okay, what can I do? I need to come up with something that's going to help me with this swelling. Because I know it's got to do with a protein deficiency. And I just need to fix it. So I thought about the proteolytic enzymes, the proteins. And they're enzymes that break down protein. And your protein need to be broke down, you know what I'm saying, so your body can use it. These enzymes are made up by animals, plants, fungi, and bacteria. Proteolytic enzymes are used for a long list of conditions, including cleaning your wounds on your skin. Like, you're going to physically clean a wound on your skin, but your body's doing that too. It's going to help you with digestion. Then when we talk about a lot of times the importance of digestion, it's going to help you with pain. Pain normally comes from swelling, and swelling technically is a good time. It is a good thing. It's just not a good thing when it's chronically happening. Because anytime you're going to heal from something, there has to be swelling. But if you're not healing from something, there shouldn't be no swelling. So it's going to help you with pain and swelling and many other conditions, right? They're also called protease and proteinase, or peptidase. And they like any group of enzymes that break down the long chain-like molecules of proteins into shorter fragments. Again, when you break down stuff, you're trying to use it. Like I said, they aid in digestion of proteins by breaking them down. See, look, when you break it down, you build it back up. Right? If you was wondering what a protease is, it's an enzyme that catalyzes proteolysis. These words are hard to say. They break down proteins into smaller polypeptides or single amino acids, and spurring the formation of new protein products. They do this by cleaving the peptide bonds within proteins by hydrolysis, a reaction where water breaks bonds. All of this stuff gotta happen, you guys. I started thinking about the fibrins. I thought about the shit. Y'all don't have to, but I'm just telling you some key words. Proteolytic, the fibrins. Fibrins are something like a mesh, not fiber, but I see why people could think that. But fibrins is something like a mesh, and as long as that shit is like, just think of a mesh. You throw it down over something, you kind of like caught something, right? It's never going, like swelling and all that shit and building of liquid. It's never gonna go away because these fibrins are holding it together. You need to get rid of some fibrins around these joints and everything. When you're young, the younger you are, the less fibrins you have. The older you get, the more you build. That's why detoxing is important. So here lately, I've been coming up with recipes, and I got a couple of them. And I gotta say, they work. They work. They work, because I was like, what kind of recipe I could come up with that address swelling. And if it's addressing swelling, then it's addressing the liquid buildup, the byproduct of swelling, the fibrins, the mesh that builds because of swelling and acts like a glue. Because like when you ever swell and you get the liquid buildup, then it goes down and you seem like you better. That fibrin is still there, not letting it go all the way. Fibrins. So I said, I'm gonna think of some food. Now, it's quite a handful of things that I make in my recipe that I'm just gonna make for myself every day. Now, because I've done my damage, as I always tell you guys, sometimes you can't recorrect damage that you've already done. Because I am older, I can't tell you that for meat that it'll totally go away, but I can tell you that I haven't had the problems that I had before. And so it is working. Like my swelling doesn't, y'all don't know it, but there's times I was on here last week with a swollen tongue. Whenever y'all hear me slur my words or it seem like I can't pronounce something, my tongue is swollen. Just throwing that out there. Demetria said pineapple juice and celery and ginger. Pineapple is a good one. Papaya too. But see, this dude, look at this dude. Demetrius, you own that shit, so you know what I'm talking about. Pineapple. Make your own pineapple juice. I hate celery. I ain't fucking with that one. But it's a whole list of ingredients that's real food that came out the ground that you can make you a whole recipe and put it together and address arthritis. Isn't that something? Or you can go get you a pill that has 20 or so different fillers in that pill, because part of that pill is going to be the pineapple, celery, and ginger, or whatever the other ingredients you could put in there. That's going to be a small part of that pill. The rest of that pill is going to be fillers of lactase, protease, just a whole bunch of shit, sugar that you don't like, your body don't like, and that's why you're never going to be cured. We know that they don't make medicine to actually address a problem fully to cure something. They just don't. So like if you have a venereal disease, they do make medicine, but a lot of people don't know that, half the bacteria and half of the things that they cure, what the cure of half of everything that you would go and get a shot for. I wonder, do anybody know how do they cure STDs, bacteria infections, venereal disease? Can anybody tell me? Demetrius, I got a feeling you know. Smash the like button. I know it's like, Miss T, you went around the world on this one. But I need y'all to see or know how Miss T mind works. How I've come up with stuff, because I'm totally believing that food is your medicine. And I can prove it. I can prove it by the virtue of the fact that I'm sitting here telling you that. Because for real, I shouldn't be here. I ain't gonna say shouldn't. I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe it. I'm a person with these issues on a severe level, like severe level, like life-threatening level. I had no choice but to figure it out. And a lot of my families, shout out to y'all watching me through Facebook, y'all didn't even know that. A lot of people I grew up with didn't even know that. Because when you look at people, you don't see that they ill. But just because they don't look like they ill, that don't mean that they not. Do anybody know the cure for STDs, venereal disease, and all that stuff? If I tell you, you're not going to believe me. You're going to debate me, and I welcome that debate. But you won't believe me. Do anybody know? I'm going to give it a second because I know it's a delay in the chat. Anybody want to call in and tell me? Let me see if I got any Cash App. Because if I got a Cash App, I'll even Cash App somebody if they know the answer. I'll Cash App you $10 if you know the answer. No bullshit. So I want somebody to call and tell me, because you would not believe if I say it. You're not going to believe me. Give me this T, you're lying. You said T, yeah, You ain't gonna believe me. Anybody want to call me and tell me what's the cure for most bacterial diseases? Let's look at it like from the point of venereal diseases and all that. Demetrius said vegetables. No. But that's a good one though, but it's not that. So Demetrius, that's your guess. PGH. Anybody else? Anybody from Facebook that's looking at me want to tell me what's the cure for that? I'll Cash App $10 right now. But you get one guess. Something real simple. Demetrius said potato. No. These are good guesses though, Demetrius. They're great guesses. Anybody? B-Mac, you up in here? PGH, what's the answer? I'm going to tell y'all in a second. But if this is why I advocate also that they need to be teaching anatomy back in like grade school, not on the level that you teach people in college, because anatomy, one could argue that it's so much information, it needs to be spread it out over a couple of years. But the proper way to teach it is how they teach it. But in grade school, you can't teach kids like that. But it's a lot about the body function that need to be taught in grade schools. Ricky Williams is in the building. He said, what's the question, sis? I said, can anybody tell me what is the cure for things like venereal diseases and most bacteria? It's a simple cure. What's the actual cure for these type diseases? And you know, it ain't what you think. What is the cure? And I said, if somebody guessed, Demetrius had some great guesses. Because today, Ricky, I'm talking about arthritis. I'm talking about achieving the goal that I set for the new year. I don't say New Year resolutions. I say goal. And my goal is to get off these steroids. Now, I take steroids to live. He said alkaline. No. That's a good one, though. But my goal is to get off these steroids, because the steroids is damn killing me. You know, it's like, it's keeping the process going. I need to get healthy. I went from, I did a long story. I ain't gonna go back over it, but I talked about from 2018, really, when I probably had COVID, but when I was sick in 2019, and I was at 2019, I was on 15 pills, and now I take 8. But I started doing a lot of little things like I'm trying to do now. My new goal this year is to go from 8 pills a day to 4. But in 2019, I was taking 15, and now I'm at 8. And that's because I let food be my medicine. Now, I'm not like most of you guys, and I sometimes in a good way envy you guys. As I tell y'all, I had my thyroid removed. So I don't even have metabolism like you guys. If I'm not 600-700 pounds, that's due to genetics. You know what I'm saying? I've had a total of 4 organs removed from me. The damage was done. The problem is I had autoimmune disorder all my life. Nobody told me until I was in my 40s or damn near 40. And once you do damage in your body, you can't go back and fix it. I have a damaged heart. I can't go back and fix it. Only thing I can do is prevent it from getting worse. That's what you get on. Let me prevent shit from getting worse. So I know there's a couple of pills that I take every day. I'm never going to not be able to take it, or I'm not going to live. But I don't want to take 8 pills. 15 to 8 pills, that's progress. Now I want to go from 8 to maybe just to 2. And I'm just letting food be my medicine. But in order for me to do that, I got to arrest the shit that's making me have the swelling in the first place, which is one of my autoimmune disorders. I have rheumatoid arthritis. I don't have regular arthritis. I have rheumatoid arthritis. So I need to arrest that shit. Ricky says, she's. Demetri said, urine. Nope. Champion Heart is in the building. He said, salute to Boxing Fans Talk TV and my brothers and sisters in the chat. Salute everybody. Yeah. I asked the question and I said, I will cash app you $10 right now. Demetrius had some good guesses of what do you think is the cure to, like, let's say STDs, venereal diseases. I'm just basically talking about how do they cure bacteria and all that. What is the thing that they cure? And I said people would be surprised to know what really cures you of those diseases and stuff. He said, just came by the show, some support, can't stay long. I feel you. Thanks, King. Besides antibiotics, what's the cure? I mean, we know how they do it. We know how to do it. I can't give you no clue. If I start talking, then you will get it. It shocked me when I found out. Let me just tell you that. He said, I'm waiting. I want to know. Shoot. Okay. So we talking about swelling, right? This topic made me think about that again. So what happens is when you want to cure bacteria, or you want to cure, let's talk about like venereal disease or STDs, because they are a form of bacteria, right? So Champion Heart said golden seal, garlic, parsley, just to name a few. No, not those. These are all good, great guesses, and you should have them in your diet or your repertoire. But so when you get a shot of antibiotics, what that antibiotic do is it doesn't cure the disease. It kills your cell membrane. Because humans, we got cell membranes, or mammals. Plants have cell wall. We have cell membrane, which is to protect the cell, right? That membrane around the cell. Well, if you have a bacteria cell, look at this mic thing. It's like a circle. Let me just say this. This will be like a plant cell wall, and this kind of circular would be like cell membrane, right? Well, good bacteria, bad bacteria, they all look the same. They all come just like that. You want to cure that bacteria, you break the membrane. When you break the membrane, what's the next thing gonna happen? Your body is how much what? Your body is what? It's the whole reason you have a membrane, because your body is how much what? Water. Your body is 70% water. You break a membrane, you drown that per se bacteria or whatever or cell. That's what they do. They just break the membrane. That's what the antibiotics do. In your cell, you got lipids lined up next to each other, and you got little gaps to allow a little bit of water in, because to let a lot of water in will kill that whole thing. It will kill a cell. So a regular cell, whether it's a good one or not, it has lipids all around it. Little lipids with little gaps in certain areas, because it's only going to allow so much water to get in, because they know letting a lot, if the gap was this big, the damn cell is dead. He said also apple cider vinegar will work. I'm not sure, but I believe you. I just know that water is what kills bacteria, venereal diseases. So when you go get your shot of antibiotics, it just kills the membrane around the cell. Once the cell membrane gone, the whole disease is gone, because it flushes, it drowns the bacteria. That's what happens. He said ginger root also works, Miss T. Like I'm saying, by itself, Champion Heart, I believe you. I haven't looked into it, and I will, with the apple cider vinegar and ginger root. But I just know, like, that's what they're doing. Over time, you should mix ginger in your food and all that stuff, period. And apple cider vinegar does have healing properties, and all that. You should put these, find a way to incorporate them in your meal, period, because over time it's for the overall health. But what I'm saying, Champion Heart, is basically, if you eat a ginger root, you saying that it's going to destroy a cell. That's what I'm saying. When they put those antibiotics in it, is done with the purpose of destroying the cell wall / membrane, because we don't have a wall. We have a membrane. Same thing. That's the only purpose. And I don't know if because ginger root would be good for the building of cells and all that. It's good food for your cells. But I'm talking about, like, when we trying to, like, if somebody come in, they say they got this STD or some bacteria infection, they give you an antibiotic. The antibiotic is just going to kill that cell. It's going to murder it by drowning it, because it's just going to kill the membrane around it, and then the cell is going to drown, because all the water will flush in. Where the water coming from? We 70% water. Guarantee it's going to drown. And that's how you get rid of diseases or things like that. And does it work for everything? No, but it works for anything that got to deal with the cell. That's the concept. That's the way they approach it. I feel like y'all looking it up. It's true. So that's why I say, when I have an issue, I work from the issue backwards. I put ginger in everything I eat. I drink ginger root in tea form. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah. Ginger is going to help you. Ginger has a lot of healing properties. I put ginger and turmeric in everything. Oh my God. And they help with swelling too. Those two. Which is right up my alley for what I'm talking about. Proteolytic type foods. Pineapples and papaya, to name a few. Demetrius, you was right. You said pineapple juice and what did you say? Pineapple juice and something else. Go back to it. Pineapple juice and celery and ginger. And celery probably make a lot of juice. But I hate celery. I can't. I'll never like it. I don't like pickles either. These are things that are good for you. Some of your probiotics, this is why probiotics are good for you too, because they're going to help you with swelling too. You said turmeric is good for inflammation. Exactly. But a lot of people look at the liquid that's built up from the swelling and they just lump it in like, oh, that's the swelling. But really, it's a swelling, and then the liquid buildup is a byproduct. That's why I told the story. Y'all probably was like, damn, T, like that's a lot. But I was telling you the story because I've been through it. I have literally brought myself back from death. If y'all want to see that part, you gotta look at the first 30 minutes of the show. And I was telling the story of what happened to me from 2018, how I had to do a procedure, how they had to drain 50 pounds of fluid off of me. I've never, ever, ever had a problem with fluid buildup like that. And since then, I haven't had a problem. I thought they were killing me and guinea pigging me up in that hospital. I left and I nursed myself back to health. I went from 15 pills a day to 8. That's what I'm on now, 8. I don't even have to take the other pills that I cut off. And when I go to the doctor, they'll say something like, "Well, what you do? What happened?" Like, I just say I eat differently now. But you had me on all these motherfucking pills. You won't trying to help me. That's the problem with medical. Until they change and go back to how they used to be, then you gotta have to do the change yourself. They address symptoms instead of addressing the root of the problem. And that's the way you have to be. You have to address the root of the problem. So I can't address the fluid buildup, because when you swollen, you see the fluid buildup. It hurts. That's the shit that makes shit hurt. It's that fluid buildup. That's what make it really hurt, because it almost exacerbates the actual swelling. And so I can't just address the fluid. What if I could just put a needle right there in my hand and withdraw all the fluid? Is the problem gone? No. I still got the swelling. And then if you always having a swelling problem, guess what? Your body's pharmacy, i.e. your adrenals, is going to pump cortisol after cortisol after cortisol. And pumping cortisol in your body chronically is not good. You're going to be gaining a lot of weight. That's one thing that's going to happen. But it's not good. I could hook you up with the herbalist Miss T, get you off all those medications. Thank you, Champion Heart. I'm actually doing good, because this is the whole purpose of me like doing this show, because I actually inadvertently trying to get healthier. I just started studying food. I didn't mean to. I promise you guys, I won't. You know how like you find out some stuff or you stumble onto some shit accidentally? That's what I call this. And once I start learning that food is actually medicine, I nurse my own self back to health. I learned, like when you're saying you learn about herbs, and guess what? Chinese doctors in China, before they can become a doctor, they have to become like a superior herbalist, so to speak. Like they have to learn about all food and all herbs and everything, and what their healing properties are and everything, before they can become any kind of doctor. American doctors should do the same. They have a different mindset, because they too, as well as what I just inadvertently learned from just trying to help myself out, they know that food is medicine. In fact, how do you even come up with the concept of a pill if you never saw it done in the first place through food? You said no money in the cure. That's why the medical industry just treats illness. Exactly. When you buy cigarettes, they won that lawsuit against Philip Morris. Why? Because they couldn't just take the tobacco out the ground. People still would have bought it. But the good thing about tobacco back in the day, like back in the day, like even before I was born, tobacco has nicotine in it anyway. Sometimes people want to be a rebel in their life. They'll smoke. By the time they're 30, they can be like, you know what? That shit ain't cool. Let me stop doing that. So they stopped smoking, right? And Philip Morris knew that. So what did they do? We can take the however much percentage of nicotine that's in there and quadruple it. They made cigarettes as addictive as heroin. In fact, cigarettes are more addictive than heroin. That's why you get the labels now to tell you the bad part about smoking cigarettes and what it can do and this, that, and the other. Because they knew all they had to get you to do is try it for about a week and you're hooked. And they didn't tell the public, man. They did that shit on purpose. Why? Because they need repeat offenders. You know, all this processed food, everybody learn about this shit now. We've been knew it. They knew it back in 1800. Go read about Teddy Roosevelt. He was so disgusted with the food industry. Read about the things that he got behind when it came to the meat markets and just food industry, period. Because this man is like, shit, he was a tougher guy. He was more resilient. He didn't get sick easy. You know what I'm saying? But Teddy Roosevelt was like, look, I got an army or a group of soldiers or dudes we gotta take that hill. We gotta win this, whatever, in the Navy. We gotta conquer this. How you gonna do it with sick people or people dying? So he basically, and I'm putting my stank on it, he basically went to them and was like, get your shit together. This motherfucking food right. Because you poisoning my goddamn troops. You poisoning my men. You can't win a war with sick ass people. Hungry ass people. Y'all can thank Teddy Roosevelt for that. Because he saw the importance then. That hence the regulations. Then fast forward to the 70s, all we got to do is slide somebody some money because we want to deregulate. That's what that shit is about. They knew in the 1800s that they tested it on rats or mice or whatever they do in the lab. They knew that sugar causes cancer. They knew that all these illnesses and shit that we got today, they knew that sugar was the main culprit of that shit. And pretty much when you're talking about preservatives and stuff, which I'll be honest, I don't see no way around it. How do you keep things on the shelf? How would you even have grocery stores? It's a dilemma. It's a real dilemma. Like, how would you build you some grocery stores to cater to the community if the food on the shelf is spoiled before they can even really get there? You have to find a way to preserve. It used to be with salt. This is why most major cities in the world, they're salt deposits. That's why I said this shit is not new. People knew even back then. New York is a big salt deposit. Don't look like it, but it is. All the major cities all around the world, there's salt deposits. Because you need salt just like you need water, just like you need sunlight. But salt was a way of preserving food. Like you could pack seafood in salt, ship it. This is like before modern times. This is what they used to do. They used salt to do all that stuff. And it preserved the food. We all used to be on a plant-based diet, but we don't remember we need to get back to being on a plant-based diet. Exactly. Even if you're not all the way 7 days a week, and who can? Y'all, I am weak at times. That's another reason why I want to get off the steroids, because it makes me weak. That hunger that kicks in. And people like, well, for y'all to join in late, smash the like button, please. But y'all, and subscribe if you haven't. A lot of y'all probably say, why would you take steroids? I don't want to take steroids. It's one of the medicines that they give me to live. All steroids ain't bad. As y'all see my shoulders, see my neck. I'm not He-Man out here. I feel you, Champion Heart. Thanks for just showing up and showing love and support. Appreciate you. You say I'm out. Much love. Yeah. So that's how they would preserve seafood. Like when they settled Canada, a lot of people were sending food back to England and this, that, and the other. But they was filling those containers with salt. That's how they kept. And then you travel in that northern Atlantic part, and yeah, it's cold, so it's a natural refrigerator. You know, so now how we gonna put food on the shelves that is preserved? There gotta be a way. I don't even know why they wouldn't say, well, let's preserve shit or make shit with real sugar, because guess what? I'm gonna give y'all a homework assignment. Go and taste some real, and I mean real, not what you think. Make sure that shit is real, out the ground, uncontaminated, unprocessed, real sugar. You can get them, you can buy them out there. You can get it just by next week. For sure, you would have got to it. Go get you some. And then try to put it in stuff that you will put sugar in. And you are almost gagged. One, they already got a lot of sugar in it that they ain't telling you, so that's probably gonna make you gag. But two, try to make something, like take a sweet potato. Okay? Take a sweet potato and put some sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg, whatever, you know, all this stuff is natural. And just put what you think should be a proper amount of sugar in the sweet potato. And you'll probably gag, just like I did. A teaspoon of real sugar, oh my God, I can't. You cannot OD on real sugar. When I tell you sweet ain't the word. Whew, sweet. You can't overdo it with real sugar. That's something you'll find out. But most preservatives and most ways how they preserve food is through some type of sugar concoction. And most pills that you take, the fillers that they have to make the pills is made of some type of sugar, but it's all man-made sugar. And some people's bodies just don't like it. Like out of the 3 kids my mom had, my body hates it. It rebels against it. It'll kill me over it. Don't do nothing to my sister. Don't do nothing to my brother. But me, and we come from the same lady. But me, it's not giving no fucks. No mercy. So when I tell y'all I inadvertently stumbled upon this type of information or whatever, and every time I have an issue medically, I look to food to find out what can I eat to address this. So rheumatoid arthritis, I've only had it a couple of years now. I haven't had it all my life. I was, like I said, it's one of those things that come with autoimmune disorders. You can have 80 different acute things that can happen to you when you have autoimmune disorders. I have my handful. Everybody who have autoimmune disorders have a handful of things they got to deal with. I have my handful, and one of them is rheumatoid arthritis. I could not prepare for it. I did not know it was coming because it normally don't afflict you until you're in your 40s. So I've only had it for a couple of years. So I'm like, I'm going to address it because I don't want it no more. I don't want it at all. There are times I'm sitting here and y'all have no clue I be in pain. Like I said, if y'all ever hear me talking and I slur my words, 9 times out of 10, my tongue is swollen. But I'm determined to get off the steroids. I'm determined. And I know for me, it's not going to be easy. Because I can't explain why I swell up in my tongue, nose, ears. I just can't. I don't know. Nobody can tell me. I don't know, because they'll be like, what you ate? I'll be like, same shit I've been eating. I can't even be a person who Like, ooh, let me try that. Scrumptious. Let me try that. Nope. I have a very limited palate. I can only stick to when I'm talking about Western exotic food or whatever. But now, food that come out the ground, I can pretty much eat just about anything. I don't do mushrooms. Then they said I was allergic to mushroom. I won't do it. I never ate a mushroom. I just knew I didn't like it. And when I did my test, because I don't know about y'all allergy tests, but they sent me somewhere. When I tell you, I never knew allergy tests could be this in depth. But I did an in-depth test where Danny, I was about to pass out. That's how much blood they took from me. Real in-depth. And it came back, it's like I'm allergic to fermented food and yeast and mushrooms. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, but that's weird because that explains why I could never drink. I'm that person that if I drink, I probably would have alcohol poisoning. I tried. Really, I was a sailor. 20 years. I tried to get my drink on. But I couldn't get past the sip. I would be like, I pass out. And I'm talking to sip. Now I know why. I'm allergic to yeast and fermented food, and those are two main ingredients in alcohol. So I don't do the sauerkrauts and yogurt, and I don't do that shit. Even though they're good because it gives you probiotic. I have to find another way to get my probiotics. So I will take a supplement, but in cases of things like that, I will take a supplement because to eat sauerkraut or to eat yogurt, I get sick. I don't feel well. I'm curled up in the bed. I just get sick. So I get it. You know, like there's some things you are going to take, and it's not like you chronically taking probiotics forever. If you live somewhere where it's cold and they tell you you have a vitamin D problem, you 9 times out of 10 have an absorption problem. And if you have an absorption problem there, and you have an absorption problem everywhere. So you're going to have to start looking into your iron and your magnesium and your whatever. And if you have this problem when you're young, then you can, I'm not guaranteeing, but this is how I would think. Now that I've been young and I'm older now, I would think, I'm one of the people that can have a stroke or a heart attack because I have an absorption problem. It don't seem like much when somebody tell you, oh, you should take some vitamin D pills. If you outside like everybody else, you're not absorbing properly. Okay, you just gotta, whatever issue they have, find the food that will help it. But sometimes you gotta be good at mixing the food. And that's what I come in, like inadvertently stumbled onto this. I found a way to put certain foods together. Well, one, I do it for the taste. Cause like if you gonna go this route and the shit tastes nasty, you ain't gonna last long. But I do it in a way that it don't take nasty. It doesn't taste nasty. Like, in fact, when I get off in a couple of minutes, I'm going to the store. I gotta buy me some more oranges. Some people don't like oranges. I love them. I got some pineapple downstairs. Now I know. I put pineapple in juice sometimes. I got some beets down there too. That's a good one. But now I feel like since I've been learning about what kind of recipe I'm gonna build to address my rheumatoid arthritis, i.e. swelling, which is going to get me off of i.e. steroids. I'm probably gonna start eating pineapple because I just don't sit down and eat it. But I'm probably gonna start eating it now. Not that I don't like pineapple. Pineapple is sweet and tart at the same time to me. You know what's good to eat too? Melons. But I'm so lazy and cutting them. I don't like watermelon. I just don't. Don't know why, I just don't like it. but I can eat it. I like watermelon drink, candy, and all that, but I just don't like. I like cantaloupe, and I'll juice with a cucumber. I just don't like it. Tastes nasty. But dew melon, that damn dew melon. I'm going to buy me one right now. I'm just thinking about it. I'm going to buy me a dew melon. And it tastes good, juice. You know what else tastes good, juice? Pears. Ooh, I'm going to get me some pears. You know. Now, I will buy me 1 or 2 plums sometimes, but I like it dark. I like the dark skin plum, like real dark and thick and Ooh, I hope they got some over there. Now strawberries taste like, you know, I buy the frozen cherries because it's kind of like in the berry family to me. But blackberries and stuff, I just eat that. We grew up just pulling it out people's yards, and I don't too much like raspberries, but I like raspberry drinks and stuff. I'll juice with it, but they're not friendly in the juicer to me. Strawberries either. Pineapples are not friendly in the juicing either. But strawberries are bitter to me. They're bitter. So I don't really get that. But blueberries, yes. Love to put blueberries. The darker the berry, y'all, the sweeter the juice and the better the healing properties. And I always get black grapes. Jay Gibson is in the building. He said, salute, Miss T. I'm here working on this car. Had to take a break. I hear you. What kind of car you got? Or what you trying to do on your car? What kind of upgrades you doing? But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. And I think I've stumbled onto a recipe. Now I'm gonna save it for myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, out again, you guys can call in, or you guys can chat, or you guys can email me. And I do take your privacy as something important. You can email me and I'll help you come up with a recipe. It is for a fee, but you know, y'all can email me. We come up with something, but I need you guys to be honest about what you want me to address. Now, a lot of the females that do email me, they don't ever come in the chat. I wish girls would come in the chat. I want them to tell their testimony and everything. I'm not telling it. They're gonna tell it. But a lot of them come at me for the purposes of lose weight, because that's what's on most women's mind. That's what we want. But I will never send you on a journey in the typical fashion of losing weight. I don't do that, because I know that weight, to me, especially when you gain a lot of it, is a byproduct of another problem. And just like I told you about my swelling, the liquid part, I can't even look at it or address it. I have to address, why am I swelling? I have to address the fact that I'm the age I am, and the probability of me having fibrins built up around my joints. I have to try to get rid of that. It's kind of like what I was telling you about the bacteria and the venereal diseases. A doctor is not going to treat your symptoms, because he ain't going to get rid of shit. He's going to kill that cell by drowning it. And once he drowns it, your venereal disease is gone. So once I address or kill off the fibrins that keep holding shit together, because today I'm not swollen, and I might got a good 3 weeks, but then 3 weeks from now, I swell again, because that shit never was totally gone. I need to get it totally gone. And the more I stay masked up, because this is what I learned during the pandemic. As long as I stay masked up, my illnesses decrease. I'm so allergic to everything. All of that decreased. I went from being in the ER 25 to 30 times a year back to back to back to back to back. Steroids, 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 steroids. To last year, 5 times. The year before that, none. Why? What changed? I stayed in the house more, but then I started getting out, but I stayed masked up. That's what changed. He said changing the power steering pump. Oh, on my mom Ford Taurus. They still make Taurus. Excuse the spelling. Now I feel you. I ain't like that old school way. I mean, I know they made some new Taurus. They kind of look more like a sedan. I didn't even know they were still making Taurus. Changing the power steering pump. Okay. That's what's up. You know how to do that. I've done that with my ex-husband. He could build a car from scratch. Trust me, I know a lot of stuff about cars, but I don't like to say I know because I ain't gonna know it off the top of my head. Put it this way, being married to him, I once put diesel in my BMW and I took it to the hobby shop, and the shit that I did, it took me 12 hours, but I fixed that shit. With a book. They gave me a book on how to fix it. And then what's the other thing? I busted my oil pan because I was on this bridge. This is all when I was living in Japan. I was coming around the corner on this bridge, and I was going too fast. And even though it wasn't ice cold outside or really, really, really cold, bridges freeze over, y'all. They always do. It don't need much for them to like kind of have a sleet or for it to have some kind of ice or freezing, and especially the materials the bridge is made out of. But it was a winter. It just was a cool night. You know, everything gets cold at night, and I'm coming around the corner, and why something told me to lean over like this, or however I leaned, because that's the opposite side. I leaned over, and when I leaned over, I saw all the cars. They wasn't moving. But for the speed I was going, I wasn't going that fast, but I was going too fast. And the cars weren't moving, so I hit the brakes. Now, mind you, we over the Japanese Sea. And all these fears was coming through me. Like, and it was a bridge where you go down and then you come up, you know. So I'm coming down and I'm on the left side of the lane, and there's cars coming up this way. But in Japan, they put what looks like cinder blocks to us. They put a whole bunch of them like in the middle of the road. I guess that's to separate. And I'm telling you, I'm sliding, and you can hear me slide. I can see the guy in front of me. He climbing up out of his seat, and he's screaming. I can tell because he's like, you know, he doing this shit. And I'm like closing my eyes because I'm thinking I'm going to hit him. I'm probably going to die. And the car gonna flip into the ocean, and then I know I'm gonna die. Oh my God. I slid and I just closed my eye, but the car was doing what it wanted to do, so it this is about my BMW. It threw itself into the other lane, and I told you in the middle they got cinder blocks, and I'm seeing the car coming at me, so I swerve back over. And I bust my oil pan. And I mean, I was standing on top of them brakes because the people said it was so much fire, like spark or something coming out the bottom of the car. And it stopped, and I swear I wanted to open the door and just throw up. But I didn't slam into the guy like I thought I did. I didn't even hit him. Like I probably stopped within inches of hitting him. But everybody was scared because there's people that jumped out of their cars and was like, fuck that. You know, they was like, they jumped out and we went on the side because, hey, that was going to be a terrible one. Look, God was on my damn side. That's when my life truly flashed before me. And my daughter wasn't with me, but because I was rushing. I had forgot something at home that I needed at work, and I took, I asked, can I leave? And I was grateful they let me go. I didn't live on the base where the ship was, and I just went home right quick and got it. And I was just trying to hurry up and get back to work, and almost killed me and took some folks with me. And so I busted the oil pan. And I don't know why traffic was stopped. It never is on the bridge. And so I was the traffic picked up and we started down the hill. And probably because the bridge was going down the decline, I got down the bottom. I was shaking the whole way. I probably had enough to get me on the base. I drove straight to the Hobby Lobby. I think it's not Hobby Lobby, Hobby Shop or whatever. Mind you, months before I had put diesel in the bitch. And I had to do so much. I had to take the wheels off of the car and put a chain around the engine, on a little, I ain't gonna say 2x4, but a big solid wood thing, to hold the engine up. It's kind of set on the top of the car, but it held the engine up, suspended. Well, I took all that, took the steering wheel column loose from that whole axle. I mean, how it was connected. I took all that loose because I had to clean out the gas tanks. I had to clean the bleed wires or the lead wires going. Then I found out BMWs have 2 tanks underneath. Oh my God, and nobody was helping me, but they knew it could be fixed or could be done. I think the guys was wondering shit, she gonna get tired after a minute and I'll buy that shit for $50. I was like, hell no. I ain't just out of spite. I'll pay $50 to have him sit there and go get another car. That's how honorary I was. I was like, no, I'm fixing this. So I fixed it. And I had to put all that shit back together. I had a book. That's all they did. They gave me a book and they helped me lift the engine thing up. But that's it. Obvious shit like that. I can't do that by myself. But they would not help me. They was hoping I'd sell that car. It was black on black BMW. So when I was all done, I had to go get something to clean the engine, the oil or whatever to clean it out. So I put this oil cleaner in it or whatever. And then I backed it up. And then I just let it run. And I kept hitting the gas a little bit just to blow all that shit out. Cleaned it. Perfect. It ran smooth as hell. And so for me, when I bust this other thing, I had to get another part like that from the junkyard. And so they secured me one. And then with BMW parts, they don't necessarily have expensive ass parts under there, but they have parts that, because they make their own tools. Luxury car places, they'll make their own tools. And when you use another set of tools to mess with the car, you can either damage the part that you're trying to mess with, or you're going to strip some nuts or whatever. They do this shit on purpose to make you have to come to them, in other words. So even the barrier with the oil tank and how it was over the pistons and all that stuff, that was a cardboard. I was like, this is a BMW. This shit is a cardboard. And I had to pull it out, and I was trying to pull it out intact. Of course, it ripped. But they got a better way to do it. So, I went and got this glue that kind of, you put it down, and it kind of turned into, it could be a makeshift one of those. That's what I had, because I wasn't buying no brand new nothing. You know what I'm saying? The part was like $30-something. And they got it off of a car that was similar to mine's in a junkyard. And so I had to take all them cams, those pistons, all that shit down, and I had to clean it. You can't have a speck of dirt in that shit. Again, the guy's looking at me like, she ain't better do this shit. I did it. Damn, glad you made it. Yeah. But the thing is, at the end of the day, when you know better, you do better, right? And so, just being married to my ex-husband, he could build a car from scratch. And he used to be like, come on. The first guy I ever lived with, he used to make me rebuild his guns. He'll take them apart, you put it back together. But I don't want to touch them shit. No, you gotta learn. These guns are in the house. I'm like, putting this shit together, you know, because in the Navy, I didn't need to mess with no guns. We press buttons. Then he would be like, yo, we're going to change the oil. I was like, you can't pay nobody to do that. No, you and me going to change this. So shout outs to those guys. But at least learning me something. He said, I never broke down an engine before. Yeah, I had to. And I didn't even know that that's what I was doing. Because when you have to get to them bleed wires, you have to take shit apart. Like, you think you shouldn't, but you got to. And especially when you mess with them camshaft and shit, you got to take that shit apart. I didn't know how meticulous that type of work was or how clean. Like, I mean, I had to wash my hand first. And when I started on it, because it has so many, like those pistons, when I started on it, I said, I can't stop. Because just opening it, you already got to clean it once you open it and oil it back. Just by doing that. That's the whole reason I was up in there, because I busted the oil pan. And I was like, whew. Now, my old ass can't do none of that shit. I was in my 30s, man. I probably had some energy. I won't be climbing up under nobody's hood today. I can promise you that. But either way, I learned, I learned some things, because some people be like, well, how you know about these cars? And I ain't had no choice. When I was married, that was a requirement in our household. I had to learn. And when my first roommate, that was a requirement in the household. I had to learn. So I replaced the carburetor before and changed valves on a small engine. Yeah, I almost redid my own brakes, but I don't know how to judge the, because you there's some judging going on. Like when you put it on, like some adjustments you got to make. I don't know how to judge that, because I mean that to me is done by experience. I didn't have no experience. I know the way they do it. In fact, I know it so well. I let a dude change my brakes right in front of my house. It was like quick. He took him an hour and a half. Boop, boop. Because I knew what he was supposed to do. I know exactly how it's supposed to go, but I can't judge it. I can't judge that adjustment that you got to have, because you got to do it just right so that when you press the gas and press the brake, it's to your liking when you're driving. And I just don't have experience in that part. I'm in maintenance, man. I hate working on cars. It could be fun. It'll give you something to do, get your mind to thinking. I put a billet grill in my Expedition one time. I did that myself. I used to buy aftermarket lights, put it up in there, and I never did the radio or anything in my car, because I always bought a car with the kind of system I like. But when me and my ex-husband would build or work on his car, we would we did a flywheel. We put a new system in there. We did a whole lot of stuff. We did upgrades. We did Kevlar brakes. We did everything. I'm quick to pay someone if the money right. Yeah, that's why I like when I go get my oil change now. If you go before I lived with my first roommate, this guy I used to live with, then you take me to times kind of like when I moved on and I'm like got stationed somewhere else, and I used to take my car in to get an oil change. They used to try to get me, but people, the further up north you go, the more fast they talk, and they got that pimp style, like and they make you think that something wrong with your car, and it's like I forgot myself for a minute. And I think maybe it was just me as a young woman being Millie Mouse, but now I take my car to get the oil change. They be like, well, you gotta do that. I said, bullshit. No. I tell them, I said, I know what I need done. No, I don't need that. Like when they want to do, what's that one thing? Is it engine flush? Something. All I know is one of the things is hit or miss. Why? Because when you have liquid build up in the tank, right? The tank will, the material on the tank, the paint, whatever, in the tank will fall off, the shavings and all that. So you're gonna have settlements in your engine. I learned this from being in the Navy, being a plane captain, because I used to fuel planes like helicopters and shit. So you're gonna have settlements in your tank, right? As long as you keep, like, you let your and this is what we tell all females. I told my daughter, when your car gets to a quarter of a tank, then you go fill back up. Now my son, I don't say nothing, but for females, when you get to a quarter of a tank, you go back and fill up, because you don't want these problems, right? So to the people who let their tank get way bone dry, you're running the risk of kicking up dust, so to speak. Once you kind of kick up dust, so to speak, because as long as you keep fueling your car, those settlements will lay at the bottom. The minute that you don't, it's gonna kick up dust, like, and then you fuel your car, you're gonna have the shit floating around, and it's gonna get through your bleed wires, and it's gonna fuck your shit up. So I don't allow them to do this one procedure. We gotta flush the engine. I think that's what it is. A transmission flush. It's hit or miss. Either they do that shit right, or they'll forever fuck up your transmission. You don't want that problem. Clogged fuel pumps, as he said. So, I'm quick to pay, so yeah. Clogged fuel pump, yep. Because that shit wants to get through the bleed wires. It's everywhere. You can't have this foreign object damage. You can't have that FOD. For those of us in the military, we know what FOD is. We know. But that's what you don't want. So, you said a clogged fuel filter and injectors. Yep. Oh, you definitely don't want your injectors or your fuel injections to get messed up and shit. Hell no. You gotta like force feed them shits. And people charge you like $200 or more to do it. It ain't that it can't be done. It ain't as hard as they gonna make it look like. It's just one of the things, they nobody want to do that shit. They just don't want to do it. But yeah, that's why, because all cars today are pretty much fuel injected. So you don't want that problem either. But anywho, though, I get to talk about cars all day. And like I said, I inadvertently learned all about the cars. I love cars. I love driving them. I was a crazy person when it was time for me to get my license. I had to have it. However, I ain't know shit about like fixing on no cars. But wherever I live, like my first roommate, shout out to Ray. Ray was like, it's a requirement that you learn how to work on cars a little bit and take these guns loose and put them back together. And I was like, oh shit. But it was a requirement in the house. And then when I was married, it was kind of like a requirement. That was his thing. So, anywho, other than that, we basically, I know I told a lot. Like I told the story of, me being sick. I really do think I had COVID. I told the story kind of about like how I went from 15 pills to 8. That's saying a lot, because those 15 total pills, that makes it what, 7 pills I was supposed to be on for the rest of my life, and I'm not no more. I told you guys that pills have fillers in them. They can't help it. In order to make a pill, you got to put fillers in it. They're never gonna make a pill that totally addresses the situation. As somebody said in here, it's money in medicine. So they're gonna have fillers in it. Those fillers are gonna be some kind of fugazi ass sugar that you can't digest, or protein. I told you how important protein were, what they're responsible for, like the building of growth, the growth of cells and the reproduction of cells, just growth period, the maintenance of your body, the balancing of your body. And to be deficient in it is not a good thing. It starts a domino effect. You're going to have deficient electrolytes, magnesiums, those minerals and vitamins that you need, but a lot of minerals. You start losing on that end, you in heart attack, stroke city. So, hold tight. Talk to my mom. She just called me. Hold on, Mom. So I'm closing out my show. But yeah, I told y'all about that. And that's why, like I said, it's important for me to get off some of these meds. But anywho, arthritis is nothing to play with. It's very debilitating. It causes damage and degradation in your joints and this, that, and the other. It's hard to deal with when you're in your 40s and you're trying to open a jelly jar and you don't have the strength to do that. And
Hello?
I said, hold on one second.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank God.
So, just let me get this call with her. But just think about that. And what I'm trying to do, let food be that medicine. That's what I'm on. My goal is to come up with a way where I'm off of steroids. And that's going to be me addressing swelling, which is addressing arthritis. And I think I found several recipes. Some of you guys already knew. Get some pineapple in your life. Get some papaya in your life. But there's more to that. There's always more to that. But I've come up with recipes. If you want to get in on it, you can email me. I'll help you out if you have other medical issues. I'm not a doctor, but I let food be the medicine. And so I will help you put together a routine that's specifically for you. But it does cost a fee. It don't cost a lot like you think, but it does cost a fee. And once you pay, that's your payment. So holla at me next week when we come back. And every week, like we didn't get a chance to answer a lot of questions this week, but we'll do it next week. So thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for coming in and showing the support. And I will see you guys next week. Peace.